Bugün aynı zamanda Karabakh
We are also opening the Karabakh University today. This opening could be held on any day, but I thought it would be best if we held it on September 20, because this is our glorious history. I believe that the establishment of the Karabakh University is a historic event, and a relevant order was signed in November last year. Then I visited here. This is my third visit here, and all the instructions have been given. The Ministry of Science and Education took all the necessary measures in a prompt manner. It is possible to say that the building has been reconstructed. This building was constructed by Azerbaijani architects and builders during the Soviet era. During the occupation, certain work was done to make it Armenian. Those signs have now been completely erased. The front of the building has been opened, and a beautiful park has been created. A master plan has been developed. That is, new educational buildings will be established in the coming years, perhaps in the next 3 years. A beautiful dormitory has been created, and I visited it today. Most importantly, young people, that is students, have started to come here with great enthusiasm. I was told that there are 1,200 students. There are students from every region of our country. Those who have performed well in admission tests, including those who scored more than 600 points, are attending this meeting and have come here with great enthusiasm. The teaching team has also been formed. I am aware that teachers are also very enthusiastic about this work, and I do hope that the Karabakh University becomes one of our leading universities. There are all possibilities to do this. According to the information available, 6 faculties have already been established. A medical faculty will also be established in the coming years. The Faculty of Agrarian Sciences will operate in Kocaeli, and Faculty of Tourism will be based in Shusha. In other words, it will be a university spanning over several cities. Of course, former IDPs who will return to Karabakh, their children will study here, and young people from all over our country will come here. This is our historical land, and I am sure that there is no one in Azerbaijan who does not know this. They know it in the world, that the city of Khankendi was an ancient Azerbaijani settlement, and its name indicates that it was Khan's village. However, as a result of the policy of hostility against Azerbaijan and our people, our control here was either weak or completely non-existent for many years, because the 3 agreements signed at the beginning of the 19th century, Karabakh, Gulistan and Turkmenchay, actually paved the way for subsequent occupation. It was after these agreements that Armenians, who had never lived in the land of Karabakh before, were moved here en masse from Iran and Eastern Anatolia. This is the truth. This is accurate history. Armenia and Armenian scientists, as always, tried to create a fictional history by distorting facts and managed to mislead the international community to some extent through their lobbying networks. At the beginning of the 20th century, further hostile steps were taken against our people. In 1923, the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast was created in Karabakh, within the Azerbaijan Soviet Republic, without any basis whatsoever. This province was subordinated to the center of the Soviet Union. This was yet another step to sever this region from the rest of Azerbaijan. 3 years prior to that, they had taken Zangezur away from us, that is Western Zangezur, in a completely unjustifiable manner. They did this in November 1920, a few months after the fall of the Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. In 1923, they planted another time bomb on our lives, and then a policy of massive Armenianization was carried out here. The Soviet government deliberately brought Armenians here from various places, including Armenia itself, in order to increase the number of Armenians within the former autonomous province. At the same time, there was no proper response to the separatist tendencies here. However, after national leader Heydar Aliyev came to power in Azerbaijan 1969, all of the separatist nests here were destroyed and stability set in. In the former Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast, the number of Azerbaijanis increased from 9% to approximately 30%. The railway was built so that Azerbaijanis from different regions could come here faster. A railway station was built in Khankendi, and major infrastructure projects were implemented, the Sarsang and Sugovushan reservoirs, which the Armenians used to deprive us of water during the occupation. Several enterprises were established, and Azerbaijanis working in those enterprises came here from different regions, including the Karabakh region. All this was going on. However, after Heydar Aliyev had resigned in 1987, separatists rose their head yet again, and this time it cost our people very dearly. The young people are probably unaware that 2 weeks after Heydar Aliyev's resignation, a Soviet Armenian scientist published an article in the French newspaper L'Humanité suggesting that the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast should be severed from Azerbaijan and annexed to Armenia. In a matter of 2 weeks, Heydar Aliyev was no longer in power. A movement started here in Khankendi and in Armenia, and various organizations were created. The central government, that is the leadership of the Soviet Union, turned a blind eye to that. It actually encouraged separatists, Armenian nationalists, inciting them to become more active. The task was to separate Nagorno-Karabakh from the rest of Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, the then leaders of Azerbaijan showed weakness, cowardice, and sometimes even betrayal. Both in the late 1980s and early 1990s, we lost lands as a result of the treachery and cowardice of the Communist and Popular Front government. Azerbaijanis were driven out of Khankendi. After then, 4 months after the declaration of independence, the Khojaly genocide was committed in February 1992. Shusha and Lachin were occupied in May 1992, and Kalbajar in April 1993. Thus, if we look at the map, we can see that this entire region went out of our control, and a geographical link was actually created between Armenia and the Karabakh region. This was our history. Again, paying tribute to the memory of the national leader today, we are saying again, and see that if he had not come to Azerbaijan in 1993 at the request of the people, Azerbaijan could have been completely disappeared from the world map. Stability was established, development was initiated, and construction began. The logical result of the construction and development work is November 8, Victory Day, the liberation of Shusha, and Armenia's capitulation. Subsequent history is already well known. If we analyze all our steps and the work we did from November 2020 to September 2023, we can see that each step was a logical continuation of the previous step, and the ultimate goal of each step was September 20, State Sovereignty Day. Let me greet you from the bottom of my heart again. I can talk a lot about the history of Azerbaijan because I have lived this history, the history of the last 30 years, and visiting Karabakh, the free Karabakh today, seeing you, seeing the smiling faces of the students in the dormitory on that balcony is a truly great happiness. There can hardly be any greater happiness than this. I wish our teachers and students every success. Work hard and study well, so that Azerbaijan always gets the upper hand, so that Azerbaijan is always on top on the battlefield, if necessary, in the economic field and in the political field. I congratulate you.
Zirvelerde olsun. Sizi tebrik ederim. Sağ olun.